What's up guys, it's Widgeon TV here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my first perk review of Destiny 2, and that perk is Armor Piercing Rounds. And it doesn't matter what you think this perk icon looks like, we're going to be covering 3 different things in this video. The extra damage done to shields, the slightly increased range, and we're going to be talking about how this perk allows you to shoot through multiple enemies. So before we get started, I just wanted to make a disclaimer real quick, and it's that Destiny 2 is very young right now, and I'm only testing this perk with energy weapons. So if anything changes in the future, I'll make sure to update this video. So let's jump into some testing. So I started this out by using the Dead Man Walking Suros pistol. As you can see here, this weapon does 140 damage against this wizard's shield. That's without the armor piercing perk applied. And now we move over here and see that this weapon does 145 damage, and that's with the armor piercing perk applied. And if you do the math on that, that's only a 3.5% increase in the amount of damage. Only 3.5%. And keep in mind that 3.5% increase in damage only applies to when you're shooting the shield. As soon as the shield is gone, you'll go back to doing normal damage. So I think everybody can agree that that's a fairly minimal increase in the amount of damage. So just to be sure, I tested this with another weapon, this time with an Amalon hand cannon. And as you can see here, it does 307 damage without armor piercing rounds and 322 damage with armor piercing rounds. And that comes out to a slightly bigger 5% increase in the amount of damage to shields, but it's still a fairly minimal amount. So next up, let's talk about the slight increase in range. So I've done a bunch of range testing in Destiny. I did it for several different perks in Destiny 1, and range testing in Destiny 2 is no different. So after extensive testing with this hand cannon, I concluded that there is basically no change in range when using this perk. I tested the maximum damage range, and there was no change. I tested the damage drop-off numbers, and also no change. And finally, I tested the minimal damage range, and there was also no change. And a range boost would be nice, because we know in Destiny, range affects more than just the damage drop-off numbers. It also affects the aim assist and the bullet bloom of the weapon, so it definitely would have been nice to have some extra range with this perk. The margin of error for my testing was less than a meter, so there may have been some small change under a meter that I may have not noticed, but to be honest, there's basically nothing here. So the last thing I want to talk about in this video is how this perk allows you to overpenetrate targets. And basically, all this allows you to do is shoot through multiple enemies without any damage drop-off. And that sounds nice in theory, but you end up not taking advantage of this part of the perk very often, other than a few instances when you're being chased by Thrall or War Dogs, or if you're in the middle of a large group of enemies, you'll probably seldom take advantage of this part of the perk. So in summary, what do I think about this perk? Well, I think it's kind of underwhelming. On a good day, you only get 5% extra damage to shields, you get basically no extra range with this perk, and you'll probably hardly ever use the overpenetration part of this perk. But to be honest, I think I'm still going to run it on my weapons. I'd rather have that 5% extra damage to shields, other than some random stability perk. But that's just me. Let me know what you think about this perk down in the comments below, and if you feel like helping my small channel out, you can hit the like button and consider subscribing. I put out high quality Destiny videos all the time, and maybe even consider following me on Twitter. But anyway, this has been Widgeon TV. Thanks for watching, guys.